This is how to cut hair like Sam Rascals. I'm going to break down this haircut step by step so you can understand how to recreate the same look. First, we're going to start off by watching the haircut together, and then I'm going to bring you into an app that I use, and I'm going to break down every single part of the haircut for you to learn, study, keep, and recreate on your own clients as well. Sam doing what Sam does, eh? Okay, let's get into it. Step number one, let's start off with the mapping sections. So he's created what we call a box section on top by taking a section right down the side of the parietal ridge, right across the crown area. Same on the other side. It's created a nice little corner around here. And then he has continued his mapping section right into the mastoid area behind the ear. Next up, we have his first cutting section, which is going to act as his guide for the rest of the haircut at the back. He's taken a section from top to bottom. And from this first section, he starts the haircut at the top here with quite a high elevation. So this is going to remove quite a lot of weight above the crown area, and because this client's got really nice curly hair, he's really going to exaggerate all the texture and have lots of movement throughout the haircut. He follows his cutting line down into the back, and then the cutting line actually graduates shorter as it gets underneath the occipital bone just round about here. So what we see at the end is we end up seeing a cutting line that is similar to this kind of shape, and you'll see it at the end of the video where you see it's like really nice and tucked in underneath the occipital bone. The hair just hugs the head really nicely. So we have this kind of cutting line creating the vertical shape immediately. Nice high elevation at the top, removing tons of weight and adding tons of movement. One thing I'd like to add before I move on is you actually can't see what is creating horizontally from this video alone, or at least I didn't see it. But there's two ways you can go about this. If you wanted to remove more weight through this area, you would opt for more rounder shape, following the head shape this way, and then following the head shape round the other side too. If you wanted to build more weight into this specific area here, you would end up creating more of a flat shape across the back, creating a corner towards the side. So you can see here, this is what I was talking about before. His mapping section will be across the back here. He'll have a mapping section down the side there. His initial cutting line is about here, and the projection of the hair is very high, which then comes in, it comes down, round, and into the nape area. The back section is where he puts a really strong trim line in here. This is retaining a lot of weight, and it's cleaning everything up as well. It looks really, really nice and fresh with a really clean exterior line, as opposed to cutting it with a scissor. It's a nice contrast actually from all the scissor work that's been done interior in here, and you can see all the layers of hair through here. There's lots of texture and lots of movement. So adding this really bold, harsh line on the exterior is just really pleasing for the eye to look at. It really draws your attention to it. And here's what I want you to notice in terms of length. When I said it gets tighter into the nape area under the occipital down here, you can see it already. You can see these strands of hairs that are actually really quite long here. But then if you look closely, all these hairs are actually quite short, and they're just tucking into the nape like this. So we can see, we don't know how he actually cut this at the back, because we actually only see him elevate this first section up top. but we can tell by looking at it, there's the shape here for 1, and we can analyze the shorter hairs below for 2, and we can see that it's probably more layered up here into graduation into the back, and then cleaned up with the trimmer to give that really nice contrast. And by the way, if you want all these drawings so you can study them yourself, print them out, open them up on the app yourself, you can join my free school community in the description, and I'll send you all of these head sheets for you to have for free and study yourself. The next step, Sam moves on to the side. He takes these diagonal backward sections like here, going into the back. But then what he does is he pulls these sections really far forward. And what's going to happen here is once he pulls these sections really far forward, he's actually going to start building more weight into the back. When you pull hair in any direction, the result of that, it will get longer in the opposite direction. In this example here, he's pulling the hair down and forwards, therefore it's going to get longer into the back. This is really going to help when creating a haircut where the client wants to wear the hair back and off the face, because it's going to be shorter at the front, like underneath this section of hair will be shorter in the temple area, and then it's gradually getting longer to the back because he's pulling it forwards. And then when there's shorter hair at the front, gradually getting longer to the back, it's much easier for the client to wear it back if they want to. This is an interesting part as well, because if you look here, in the video, he doesn't show you this, but this is something that you have to spot really, really quickly. So in the video, he just begins to cut the top. His cutting line is going across here, from back to front. But if you look closely into here, what you can see is this front section is actually already been cut, but you don't see this in the video. So what he's done, especially because the client's got really curly hair, this is what you want to be doing really. So I assume he would have asked the client where he wants his fringe to sit on his face. He's cut that length in around the front, eyebrows, eyes area, taking into consideration that the curl is going to react, so you cut it a little bit longer. So for example, if this client wants his fringe to sit here and here, he's probably going to want to cut it a lot about here, because once this hair reacts, it's actually going to sit higher. It's probably going to sit somewhere more like this. So his cutting line for his fringe can be probably something around about here. We'll bring these down here to say this is where he's cut his fringe. Then he will elevate the fringe up, using this as a guide, and then cutting from back to front, removing a lot of the internal weight here. Again, exaggerating the texture that this client has, giving that really nice curly textured look to the whole haircut. And then in terms of cutting the rest of the top, we don't get to see it in the video, but there's also 2 ways that you can go about this. You can also keep bringing everything up nice and square, so the top of this is like really flat, which is actually going to build more weight out into the corners of the client's head. Or the second option is you can bring the sections out following the head shape like this, create more of a round shape, which is then going to remove all the weight from this corner that would have been created if you created a flat cutting line or square shape on top. And last but not least is put a lovely little taper into here to give the client a really nice burst of freshness on the side. It really, like, again, just like pushing the trimmers around the neckline at the back, gives it like the really harsh contrast from short to long, from clean to textured. This does the same as well on the side. You can see the contrast here. Lots of texture through here, really clean here. It just looks really nice to look at. And then here's where you can see all the texture of his fringe, sitting right just below his eyebrow, in between his eyebrow and his eyes. So he probably would have cut that around about here. Wouldn't be too far off that location. It could even be cut a little bit lower, to be honest. He could have actually cut it around his cheek, because you can see this is actually really long. And when that's pulled down, that could probably be cut around about there, and it jumps up to here. And there you have it. That is how you cut hair like Sam Rascals. If you like this, please leave a comment below and I can make some more of these. And if you want all the diagrams from this video, go to the first link in my description, join my free community, and you'll be able to download all the head sheets for you to study and try and replicate yourself.